Namaste, Salam Alaikum, and good evening. Thank you, Samir. I think he's already given my pitch, so I don't have much to say. So it's my thank you, Samir, ORF, and the government of Morocco for bringing me here for the second time, and really happy to come back to Tangier and love this place. So I'll get, because paucity of time, I just don't want to be talking much, but I want to share with you, as he said, stories. So I'm a filmmaker, and commercially I was doing advertising films, and I made 2 feature films. And but somewhere over the last 25 years of having traveled the length and breadth of the country and many other places, I've traveled a lot. But as I travel and I see original stories that are emanating in India, that kind of, made me compel that I need to come back with a big idea. So now, specifically, this is a forum for technology, innovation, and what's going on with the internet world. About 4 years ago, I decided that this is a very good opportunity. I would say it's kind of a wide space of opportunity because these kind of content don't exist. So growing up in India, we are always taught that, India's country is a rich culture, rich heritage, and blah, blah, blah. But I really could not get deeper into it. And especially with the millennial generation, with everything being globalized, somewhere they connect with the local is a disconnect. So the idea is that here's an opportunity that we can create a kind of a virtual museum of stories. So at the moment, we have set our goals to make 1,000 stories of India. And stories that are coming from India, deeper India, but for a larger humanity. Basically, I call them as their ideas for humanity. So I will not talk about it. I'll just show you a film and then take you to what made me go to those places. So we'll start with film 1. Yunus, can we cut that light off, please? And some more lights down, if possible. Or jara volume, some more volume, little more volume. Volume up.
ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਹੀ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਅੱਗੇ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਰੱਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਅੱਗ ਦੀ ਖੁਸ਼ਬੂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਰਹਿਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ। जो सारे शब्द होंगे ना वो हर एक शब्द का एक मतलब निकलना है कि आज मेरा मतलब कि तुम ये काम तो तुम अंदर शांति मिलेगी अगर तुम गलत काम करोगे तो तेरे नाल आ बुरा होगा पर अपन सारे शब्द तो सानू सीख मिलती है फिर इसलिए मैं छड़ देती हूँ मेरे बहुत ज़्यादा शांति मिलती है मेरे किसी और गाने में नहीं मिलती है।
मैं नामधारी में रहना चाहती हूँ क्योंकि म्यूजिक की इनमें बहुत कदर है।
शुरू से ये माना जाता है जो ब्रह्मांड है उसकी जो होन है रेजिस्टेंस है वो साउंड से तो साउंड के बिना ब्रह्मांड नहीं तो इसलिए हम साउंड से ही म्यूजिक का
So, you, so what I want to say is that, this is a story that I found from a small, quaint village in Punjab in north of India. And this story, probably even people of Punjab won't know, or forget about rest of India. So here suddenly this opportunity opens up that you can take a story and from one remote corner of any part of the world, and now suddenly it can inspire, I don't know, there are many people. So it's important to find, and most importantly, all our films are with real people. We have no actors. So we go and find these stories and then make it with the real people. And so I'm going to take you to that was north of India, and now I'm going to take you up to the mountains in a place called Silent Valley, which is down south of India. And this is about a tribal community which lives deep in the kind of Amazonian kind of forests. And here's a beautiful story of love and marriage. And let's play the film too, please. Thank you, Yunus.
Ini dia baik hati yang boleh kemarin.
Thank you, Ines. You know, these days we have destinations weddings, which are very expensive. And here's a beautiful idea of a wedding in the forest. And this is a way of this, interpretation of making these kind of short films. It's a way of preserving our folklore, our rituals, our stories. So this gave us we went into this again, many people or say, hardly anybody will know this story that exists or this folklore exists. And interestingly, I heard the previous person talking about how technology is used by terrorists. So he was talking about drones being used by terrorists for, purpose. And here we use the drones for a creative purpose. And that last shot, if you had seen in the waterfall with those women out there dancing, it took us 1 day just for us to trek, but it just took 10 minutes to get the shot with the drone. So it's interesting that we can use technology for more inspiring creative purposes too. Now, today, I have information that 5 billion videos are watched every day on YouTube, and 100 million hours of video are watched on Facebook. And so much of content, but can we have some genuinely inspiring content that talks about our heritage, trust, culture, people stories, etc. And that doesn't exist. From where I come from in India, we are fully flooded with entertainment, which is cinema, Bollywood. And I felt that there is a white space, as I said, of opportunity to do stories of India and make them, most important is how do we reach today's young audience, is to make them in short forms, under 10 minutes. If I can tell a story under 10 minutes, he'd love to see one more story. Slowly we'll win them over and we'll inspire them. Now let me take you to another story. Film 3, please. Thank you. Just increase the volume, please.
प्रपञ्चस्य सृष्टेः प्राक् शब्दमासीत् सः शब्दः इव ओङ्कारः ओङ्कारात् सर्वम् अक्षराणि सृष्टानि वेदाः उपनिषदः सर्वाणि तत्र ग्रन्थाः सर्वे ग्रन्थाः ओङ्कारात् एव आगताः अतः संस्कृतमपि सृष्टेः प्राक् इव आसीत् इति अस्माकं भावना
संस्कृते स्वरवर्णानि तथा व्यञ्जनाक्षराणि सन्ति तथा न सन्ति पाणिनीयव्याकरणे।
अहम् अष्टमकक्षायां पठामि। अस्माकं शाला श्री शारदा विलासा प्रौढशाला मत्तूरु। मम नाम रुमाना। मम मातुः नाम शालिला।
एकः काकः आसीत्। सः काकः पिपासार्हितः आसीत्।
सर्वेषां विद्रत्तिविदानं सत्त्वेषं न हि गणयेम।
तामेव भाषां वयं वक्तुं जनाः अस्माकं शाला छात्राः विरसन्तः सन्ति। सा भाषा पाणिनीयमतानुसारमेव अस्ति। पाणिनिं विहाय वयं न पाठयामः। पाणिनीयव्याकरणानुरूपमेव वयं संस्कृतं तत्र छात्रेभ्यः पाठयन्तः स्मः।
अन्नदानं परमदानं विद्यादानं मतः परम्।
संस्कृतम् अनादिभाषा अनन्तभाषा इति कथ्यते।
अधुना प्रवर्धमानस्य तन्त्रज्ञानस्य अंशाः प्राचीनभारतेऽपि कृतप्रयोगाः विद्यन्ते। यदा सन्देशमेकः प्रेषयति तदा सन्देशस्य गोप्यता लक्षणीया। अस्य विधानस्य आधुनिकतन्त्रज्ञानभाषायां क्रिप्टोग्रफी उच्यते।
संस्कृते व्याकरणं यदस्ति तत् नियमबद्धं वर्तते। तथा गणिते तर्कबद्धं युक्तियुक्तं ज्ञानं बहु प्रयोजनाय भवति।
तत्र सन्देहप्रयोगस्य विधानः प्रोटोकाल् उच्यते। संस्कृते तान् नियमः बन्धानां रूपेण द्रष्टुं शक्नुमः। सामान्यतः बन्धे सन्देशः श्लोकरूपेण भवति। इतः एकवेत्रयेन षष्ठाक्षरम्। इतः एकवेत्रयेन सप्ताक्षरम्। यः तं बन्धं जानाति स एव चित्रबन्धस्य साहाय्येन अन्तर्गतं श्लोकं ज्ञातुं शक्नोति।
शब्दस्य यथा प्रपञ्चः अस्ति तथा शब्दः अपि। यथा शब्दः तथा देवः। अतः तस्मात् आत्मनः आकाशः शब्दः प्रादुर्भूतः। अतः वयं वदामः शब्दस्य नाशः एव नास्ति।
You must all be aware that Sanskrit is an ancient language and it's 2000 years old, but we don't really speak, or it's not that prolific contemporary language, but it is in this quaint village called Mattur in South India, in Karnataka, where every child speaks Sanskrit. The language of communication in that village is Sanskrit. And that preservation is very unique, which is not happening anywhere else. And no matter of what religion they are, Sanskrit is not related to religion, but there in that village, everybody, every school child, and even if you go to a shop and you want to buy something, you have to speak in Sanskrit. So imagine going and buying a Coca-Cola and talking in Sanskrit. So quite an interesting place. But the story of preservation and continuity is something that we found in that story. And especially this convention being about innovation, technology, you can see such an ancient language connected with technology. And that's why probably some of the best coding engineers are coming from that part of the world. Now, I'll go to my last film. And I wanted to, two things I want to say. You know, we call it virtual Bharat. You know, the ancient name for India is Bharat. So the idea of virtual Bharat is a destination in the cloud that we're going to keep like a virtual museum of India with 1,000 stories in the next 5 years, populated with 1,000 is just a destination, but it'll go beyond that. But the idea is you can come there and experience, inspire culture, art, music, anything and everything. So it's not just about India. If you find stories with similar connect from any part of the world, whether it's Africa or South America, we'll bring those stories. Because at the end of the day, it's all about sharing and connecting stories that, you know, which have been timeless. So let me go to the last film, which is again, this happened recently, a few months back, in North India, near in Allahabad. We had Kumbh Mela. Kumbh Mela is a gathering of about 40 days of about 15 million people in one place by the Ganges. And we found this very special existence, a great inspiration. And I took him back to his ashram and made a film with him. I think the rest is for him to tell. And another important thing is in the way that we want to tell stories is also, it's not that I'm doing everything. I'm trying to find talent with his researchers, writers, cinematographers, editors, composers from all parts of India or wherever they are. It's about collective energy of bringing talent together to tell these rooted stories. And I think that way we can inspire each other, whether they are from Africa or India or any part of the world. And so we have been connecting with, young, fresh students who come out of school, film schools, and were wanting to make some, everybody wants to head to Bollywood. I hold them and say, hey, first make a 10-minute film, then we can reach somewhere else. So it's important to tell a story interestingly in a contemporary way within 10 minutes. So I'll go to my last film, and I'll have a few things to say after that. But one last thing is that every story has to tell itself. We don't put an anchor. We don't say, hey, this is what is happening. The characters, the story has to speak. We are just putting them as a collective, bringing a creative idea to package and take their stories and show it. So it has to be original. So here it comes. The last film, please. Thank you.
And 1, 2, 3. My life is incredible. Life in the midst of the world. I do not desire for longest life. I will live longest life, I will live the world. My end punishment
no matter how to live my life in a correctly and innocent. बेटा मृत्यु हो गया जहाँ बड़ ছিল সর্বস্ব বয়সে মায়েরা শেষ সত্রে আর বাবা মায়েরা কিন্তু উঠা পড়েছে। God cannot be explained by word. My Guru is my visible God. Guru is better than God. God might be able to give you certain things you want in the world. But if you ask God for miracle, God cannot grant you miracle. God has to take the ordinary Guru to grant you the miracle, or to continue the mark that way. From morning to night, I generally spiritual exercise. Only walking will not help it. Only physical exercise walking. Without what is it, then our life. Wow, it is mental peace and I pray only first time. Done only I talk. Do routine dinner, do routine practice. Body and mind is interconnected. Where there is mind, there is body. Nobody can understand how this interconnection. God is the whole. You are the intestinal part of the whole, so you are God. Logic, nobody can deny. God is only better in my conception. Whole world is the manifestation of God. Whole world is. সব অঞ্চলে সব চিন্তা, সব চিন্তা, সব কর্ম, সব ভাবনা। এই চিন্তা করলেই ঈশ্বর লাভ হবে, যখন জীবন সুন্দর হবে। no desire now, no desire, no disease, no depression. I believe in saint, powerful saint. I want to came from there. What is the difference? That's why I am down there. That's for joy. Guru is not there. If you read, when it is doing life, when it is doing life, then you will receive, when you will enjoy long life, nature, everybody can. Shivananda Baba, not only old age, but also happiest men, living there in the world.
No desire, no disease, no depression. Is anybody ready for that? I think it's a very difficult challenge to get the 3Ds going. But these kind of stories keep me inspired and keeps this big idea going. And I'm really blessed to have met Sivananda Swami when he was 123, not 122 nor 124, you know. So we have done about, again, this is again, it's not an easy thing to do. First of all, to find the stories, to go to the places, and to make interesting films. It's a tough one to catch. And most importantly, in this world where everything is monetizing, it's a difficult challenge. So how do you make the film? So far I have, you know, the first 3 years, we've made already 65 films, self-funded it, so that proof of content is there. And now we will launch it in a few months' time, and we hope that we will find good supporters and visionary supporters to take us through this initiative. But the big idea is there, and I think nothing will deter us from this. So we have the passion to do it. So I hope next year Samir invites when he is 124 to bring, because in his list of countries, Morocco doesn't there. So he can make it this time. Thank you very much, and thank you so much.